This is a show for grown-ups.
And they say bad words.
And they say bad words.
Say final warning.
Final warning.
Hello and welcome back to the Pod of Blunders. I am your host, Nate Magnuski, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Richard Sullivan.
Hello there.
Richard, we were accused last week in our episode where you interviewed me of being masturbatory.
Who said that ignorant shit? I will hunt them down and I will fight them.
Well, they're patrons, so maybe leave them alone.
All right, they're good. Except for Conan.
No, that guy can eat shit. They're not wrong. I mean, it is very self-referential. We were navel-gazing a little bit, but I think we've learned our lesson from that. We're not going to do that anytime again. I think we've turned over a new leaf.
I agree. So what are we doing today, then?
Oh, we're going to play my game Lucha Libram, which is, of course, is my wizarding luchador wrestling RPG for 2 players.
You've sold, what, 3s of copies?
So it's hard to tell how many copies I sold because it was part of that bundle for Ukraine.
Well, I mean, I bought one.
So in Lucha Libram, we're each playing a luchador that has magical powers. And we're competing to see who can get the crowd on their side first. Whoever reaches 20 crowd points will win. And because this is meant to be a really fast-playing game for 2 players, it's meant to be something that takes very little setup. There's a lot of tables that we can roll on to just create our characters fast and then put our own little stank on them to make them our own. So you're going to need 2d6, and you're going to need a piece of paper and a pen. Before we get to the naming of our characters and talking about what they look like, we need to figure out what school of magic that they favor. So why don't you roll a d6 and tell me what kind of magic that your luchador wizard wields?
We got a 2, so necromancy.
Yeah.
I can raise a zombie rabbit from the dead.
And I got conjuration for my school.
You can summon a rabbit from a hat.
In case you didn't pick up a theme, all 6 of these schools explain how they fucking work by talking about what kind of rabbit magic you can do. It's shut up. Anyway, moving on. Our school of magic helps define what kind of mask our character wears and what their costume looks like. Now we can just make that up, whole cloth out of, whatever we want, or we can use yet another little chart here to look at the school, look at their associated colors and themes, and go from there. So why don't we take a minute to look at our information here and then design our masks and our costumes.
Well, you've given us, for necromancy, the themes of skulls, bloods, bones, creeping animals, rot, death, and other religious elements. I think I want to wear like a leather face mask, but sewn into like a lucha mask.
I like that. What colors and stuff? Like a human skin color?
Yeah. I mean, the colors you've given me, black, gray, purple, midnight blue. Midnight blue? Couldn't have just said blue?
No, it's very specific. There's other blues in other categories.
You're colorblind. You don't even know what that is.
I assume what's the color of blue you find at midnight.
I think all his lucha gear is going to be made from human flesh.
I really hope you're not the Technico on this. I hope you're the Rudo.
I was planning on it, but do we have to roll for that? Because that could get interesting.
I mean, you can roll for it, or you can just call it now. That's fine, too. Because it'd be weird if you were like the hero of the episode, and you're like, I'm just covered in dead people meat.
Every Rudo is the Technico of his own story, Nate. So you don't know.
That's true. This here skin is Nazi skin, so it's totally fine. You're an Argentinian luchador. For conjuration, moving right along, my colors are green, white, yellow, light blue, like light and natural colors. And my themes are plants and animal life, horns, glyphs, and nature elements, So I kind of want to have like stag horns. Like I want to be like very like druidic focused. So maybe like blue body paint, like and all these glyphs and weird symbols. I don't know. They don't make like furry luchador masks, do they? I've never seen one.
I mean, this is a game of fantasy. You can make whatever you want. They don't make lucha masks out of human flesh either, so.
I don't know. Cartels, man. Who knows what they do? I think I'm going to have a furry mask. I'm going to have a furry mask and like these antlers that come off. But there's still like an antler motif on the side of my head,
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm thinking your entrance gear, you can come out with an actual skull and then take it off.
Yeah. And I'll put that on like the turnbuckle. All right, so we have our costumes done. We have our masks figured. We know what power we're going to use. So really, there's only 2 stats that you have to be concerned with in this game for your character. you have grace and power. Grace is more like body control, the high-flying action of lucha wrestling, the little nifty tricks, that kind of stuff. It's your dexterity stat. It's your acrobatics. Whereas power is just the raw ability to throw someone through a table, to hit someone with a chair, to pin somebody, to gorilla press them into the air, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to pick one of these that you favor and one of these that's not so strong. There's not much of a difference because, again, quick and painless playing. So on your one that you favor, put a 2. And on the one that's a little weaker, put a 1. So what are you going to do? What's yours?
My grace is a 1 and my power is a 2.
All right. Just for funsies, I want to do the opposite of you. My grace will be a 2. My power is a 1. So I'm a little bit more graceful than I am strong. Okay. So now we have everything done except for our name and who's the Rudo and who's the Technico. So, Richard, do you want to roll for this or do you want to just claim Rudo because of your wearing skin?
Rolling.
Okay. So we each have to roll 1d6, and whoever gets the highest is a good guy. The lowest, of course, is the bad guy.
All right, you ready?
Yep, let's go.
1, 2, 3, 6.
1. So you're the Technico. And so the Rudo will go first, introducing their character. They'll talk about their entrance, and they'll be the first one to act. They start the game with narrative control. And the Technico is the second one. It should also kind of color how we act. The Technico is not going to be one to, throw sand in the other guy's eyes. They're not going to be doing things to injure the other player, maybe. They want to do more stuff that's forthright and heroic, whereas the Rudo is just a fucking piece of shit. I'm not saying Rudos have more fun. I'm just saying. Lastly, you have to come up with their character names.
So using Google Translate, Cara de Cuero, Spanish for the Leatherface. You can't get sued for copyright if it's in another language.
Yes, that's true. Which is why I'm El Wendigo, which of course is Spanish for the Wendigo. We can think about our introductions now, but before we actually introduce our character, we have one more step separating us from playing this game. And you know what that is, Richard?
The arenas and locales.
We have to roll on the arenas and locales table to tell us where the hell we're going to be fighting. Why don't you take care of that for me? Why don't you roll 2d6 and tell me the numbers?
52.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
We are wrestling.
I read that all wrong.
We're wrestling on top of a massive cog and a giant clock. I don't know what you could have read wrong, Richard. So we'll explain the actual mechanics of the game while we're playing. I think that's easiest. And I'm sure you could use a refresher, Richard. So, I'm happy to help you out with that. So now we have to talk about our introductions, our intros to the ring. So in my mind, this is like a Big Ben type idea, like a massive clock.
Yes. Well, it's a giant clock. It's a massive cog, you see.
So maybe this is not that. Maybe this is like an elemental plane of like mechanics and gears, So the ring itself is this giant, slowly like tick, tick, tick rotating gear. And all around it are these clockwork people. And they're the ones that are going to be cheering us on. All right. And instead of turnbuckles, maybe there's big springs because we're on a clock, you see.
Ah.
Yeah. So I'm imagining like a lot of brass and steam, ticking, maybe some like cuckoos or alarms going off, that kind of thing.
Well, I imagine it to be very steampunk then.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of picturing in my head. Is that good with you, or you want to?
Yeah, what are we using for rope?
I mean, there's always wires. Or there could be like steam pipes so they're hot.
Yeah, I'm going to bounce off a steam pipe.
The steam hoses.
Okay, the steam hoses.
Yeah, classic steam hose situation. So I think the lights go off. I think all the fires are dimmed. And you hear like the wind kind of whistling through the cogs. I'm about to say cogs like 16 times this episode. And you hear some drumming. And then my character floats down. You see like my costume itself is kind of just scraps of rags. They're blowing in the breeze. And on my head is a huge deer skull with antlers. And I'm like impossibly skinny. You can see like my spine through the front. I look skeletal. I have these long, long fingers. And I land in the middle of this cog. And it's still spinning. And I take my antlers off. And I throw them on the ground. And they explode into dust. And as they settle, then my luchador costume is revealed. So the wispy rags are gone. And now I'm kind of like wrapped up in these weird bloody leathers. That's right. I'm doing leathers too. And yeah, I'm like going around like throwing dust and bones into the crowd. I'm casting all these horrible bits of blood. I'm splashing people in the first few rows. I'm laughing at them. I'm getting them really heated at me. I want them to hate me, and I think they're booing me now. And I'm like licking the blood from my fingers. And now I will let you enter the ring.
A forklift drives up onto the entranceway. On it is a 6x6 shipping container. Wooden. Because Jim Cornette always said, you want to get somebody over, you have them come out of a box.
What?
This is true. It's like
was he in charge of the Undertaker?
He should have been. No, he was for the gobbledygooker.
The what? Are you just making shit up now?
The gobbledygooker came...
What the fuck is a gobbledygooker?
It was Eddie Guerrero's brother, and it was at Survivor Series. It was on Thanksgiving. It was like either Thanksgiving night or the night before. And so for a month they were saying, "What's in the egg? The egg's gonna hatch, and we don't know when." And for weeks they would just cut to this egg, and it was actually the same night the Undertaker debuted. He was convinced they were gonna put him in the egg. So anyway, Hector Guerrero comes out of the thing and wrestles as a gobbledygooker for a few weeks.
Was he like a turkey, I'm assuming?
Yeah, he was a turkey man.
Yeah.
But I'm not a turkey man.
Oh, good.
I'm in the box. And it's quiet, and all of a sudden you hear the rev of a chainsaw. Because copyright infringement be damned. You just see the chainsaw blade come through one side and cuts out a perfect man-shaped entryway. And I come through like one of those Japanese game shows.
Yeah, I know when they had to jump in, like, form their body into the stupid shape as the styrofoam thing passes them.
Yeah, it looks like a cartoon me got so scared that it ran through the box. Like that type of shape. So I Wile E. Coyote myself out of the box. Crowd goes apeshit because I'm the most popular Technicos in the Federation.
And you're in a box, and I mean...
He's over, goddammit!
Yeah, you're a tough sell as a Technico.
Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, there was nothing about him that was babyface. He was a heel through and through, but people just fucking loved him. That's
true. He was a cool guy that like drank beer and punched dudes, and you wear human skin. Like you see, there's a difference.
Yeah, I got that working against me.
Yeah, you got the human skin angle working against you.
Did I mention I came out of a box? So I think I'm dragging my chainsaw behind me, and it's causing sparks on the metal grating on the entranceway. I jump into the ring, and you immediately powder out.
Right.
And because, again, gimmick infringement be damned, I do like the Leatherface dance at the end of the original Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
And the crowd's just eating that up.
And I complain to the ref, like pointing to your chainsaw and being like, "You can't have that.
It's
you
an
can't
illegal
have
object."
That. And he's like, "Get in the ring, get in the ring." They don't want to hear my bullshit. So now we can start. Now we can actually start playing the game. So it's a really simple system. There's only a few things we can do. At the outset, we don't have any magic points. And magic points are how we do big spells. And those are usually how we can generate crowd points. And the point of this game is whoever can generate 20 crowd points first wins over the crowd and wins the match. But at the start, we don't have any magic to spend. What we can do is attack with our grace or our power. And it's very similar to like Power by the Apocalypse. So 7 to 9 is a mixed success. You get some good stuff, some bad stuff. 4 to 6 is a failure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think while you're handing up to the crowd, I'm sneaking into the ring. And right away, I'm going to go for like a quick pin. I'm just going to come up behind you, kind of try to schoolboy you a little bit and pin you on your back just as fast as I can. It's a real slick, oily maneuver. It's a real piece of shit thing to do. So I'm rolling my 2d6 and adding my 2 for my grace. And I got an 11. So I add +2 magic, and I maintain narrative control. So I get to keep the action going. You can't do shit. So I think you kick out because...
Immediately.
Yeah. And the refs like give me a shrug like, what? I'm going to spend my magic right away. I'm spending both my points. So at this point, when you spend magic to cast a spell, you add that to your roll. You can never spend more than 3 points on a magic spell. So if you succeed, cool, you get crowd points. If you fail, you lose the magic points and you don't get any crowd points. So it's a gamble. You're gambling your points to be able to do something cool. So I'm a conjuration wizard. So you kick out, I rip a piece of cloth off my arm, I wave it up around my head, and it gets long like a ribbon dancer thing, and I throw it at you, I wrap you up in it. And I'm going to try to like just mummify you and kick you out of the ring, off the cog that's spinning. I'm rolling +2. All right, so I only rolled a 7, so that's not good. I gain 1 crowd point. The crowd loves it. They're into this. They see the action, and they are upset that I'm doing so well. And I lower my guard. And I'm like, oh, what? What? You don't like that? What? And now you have narrative control. You take over the fight. Now you can use like little magical effects as part of your power and grace moves, you know?
Right.
But like I keep it the sole focus. Yeah, exactly.
So my arms are tied behind my side, but as you're jaw jacking to the crowd, I'm going to bounce off the ropes and I'm going to drop kick you with just my feet.
Alrighty, so roll your 2d6. Is that power or grace, do you think?
I think that's
so the
grace.
Reason, yeah, and the reason you might want to use your weaker stat is because the benefits you get from using it are higher if you succeed. So it's less of a sure thing, but again, this game is all about risk.
So it's a 6 plus a 1.
Very lucky, man.
So I get 2 magic points, however, you get narrative control.
So I think you go to kick, and as soon as your feet are about to hit me in the back, my head turns around, like snaps the wrong way to look at you. And you know, like in the thing, the guy's chest opens up and eats the other guy's hands and stuff?
Yes.
Well, I do that, but to your feet. When my chest opens up, you hear all the ribs popping and cracking, and I have you now. And so I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to kind of just power bomb you into the ring.
By my feet.
Yeah. I think that's a power move, if anything. So I have an 8. So I get +2 magic again, but I can't use them yet because you have narrative control. So you've been power bombed, or maybe not. You're going down. You can describe how you took advantage of my failure, or of my not completely succeeding.
Well, we all know the proper counter to a power bomb is a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, I'm inside your stomach.
Yeah, you're inside of me right now.
With just my feet. Yeah, so I'll use my Hurricane Rana with my legs whipping you the other side.
Yeah. Roll your Hurricane Rana move, yeah.
Which, again, is a grace move.
I would say so, yeah.
4.
Ha ha ha!
Failure.
Your legs come off. You go to flip me with your legs, and you just pull your knees off entirely because I've eaten your legs to my chest.
Gross.
Yeah, it's not great. So now that you're freaking out on the ground with no legs and all that, I am going to run, bounce off of the rope, and I'm going to just, I don't know, elbow drop you, I guess. Oh no, I want to do like a flip and like hit you with my ass. What is that? Is that a move?
Senton?
Sure, Richard was I think everyone who listens knows by now you were a wrestler. So you know all the cool stuff. I don't. So a senton?
A senton, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna senton so hard on you. You say I think it's grace, right? To do a little flippy.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Ugh, it's a 7. It's a +2 magic again. So I'm doing really good on magic. I can start spinning some spells. But for now, you have narrative control. So maybe I bounce off of you, but it doesn't do the damage I thought it would. Do you
I'd
have
rather
narrative
just roll
control?
out of the way.
Yeah, I guess.
Except now my arms are tethered and my feet are detached from my body.
Yes, I've eaten them with my chest.
You've killed my feet.
Yeah, but you're a necromancer.
Well, I was getting there. So I will use my 2 magic. 1 for each foot. And now my feet will raise from the dead and become little feet zombies.
Like kick their way out of me or something?
Yeah. And I think, like, remember the it's going to bring back some scarring memories from your childhood. Do you remember the shoe that Judge Doom dipped in the barrel in Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I do.
imagine, like, the horror version of those rip out of your body and crawl around like Ash's hand from Evil Dead, but their feet.
Oh, gross.
They come to my rescue, and they rip my bandages off. And now I have use of my arms, and now it's become a 3-on-1 handicap match.
So roll your 2d6 plus... You have 2 magic, right?
Yeah, that was my 2 magic I spent to do that.
Yep, so now you have to roll... Because you're casting a spell, essentially. So you're risking those 2. So it'll be 2d6 plus 2. And I hope you fail.
8.
All right, so you gain half the amount of magic spent for crowd points. You get 1 point of crowd. And now I have narrative control. So I think I'm doubled over. I'm like bleeding out into the mat. And then you see me start making these weird hand gestures over the blood. And I'm making a sword out of them. Like I'm gathering all the iron out of my blood, like Magneto style, with this huge sword. And I'm just going to throw it at you, like overhand. And I'm going to risk all 3 out of my 4 magic to do this. Ooh, that's a 13. So I gain 3 crowd, and I keep narrative control. So this sword is spinning at you, and then as it's spinning, I'm running after it. And I think it hits you, and then I kick it into you as hard as I can. So I think that'll be power.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a 12. So I get plus 3 magic, back up to 4, and I keep narrative control. So for you, I'm going to turn the blood sword into a leech, like a bunch of little leeches inside of you. And then just crawl around in there. I'm going to risk 2 of my magic to do that. Oh, that's not great. That's a 7. So I get 1 crowd. I'm at 5 crowd now in total. But you get narrative control. But you are full of leeches, which is a bummer for you.
So my feet are going to walk behind you. You know the old trick where we get somebody to
kneel behind somebody?
Yeah, and then you push them over? I'm going to do that with my feet.
Matt Shaw did that to me in 7th grade, and I've never forgiven him.
I'm going to Matt Shaw you.
Oh, you bastard.
And that's going to be a power move, because I'm pushing you pretty hard.
He's so embarrassed when I fall down.
So 5 plus 2, that's a 7. That's a mixed success. So I get 1 magic point.
Yep.
And however, you get narrative control.
I hit the cog, and I explode into like a mist of biting flies.
I mean, I didn't push you that hard.
Counting it. So I'm going to spend my 2 magic that I have left to try to do that. Oof. That's a 6, my friend. That is a waste of my magic. No crowd points are awarded to me, and may God have mercy on my soul. You get narrative control back right away, my friend.
So I think you do turn into flies?
Yep.
So I pull out a big fly net. I capture you in the net.
So I like it.
And now I'm going to do like a big elbow drop onto the net of flies.
A pile of flies.
Power move, elbow drop. 9. So I get a magic point. However, you get narrative control back.
So I think you hit. It hurts. Your feet are doing a little happy dance in the corner. And I want to say like engulf you as the flies. I went like, maybe, oh no, the net bursts as you hit. And I fly back and I form into myself again. I'm going off the turnbuckle. I'm going to moonsault onto you. That's a wrestling thing.
That is.
For people who don't know what it is, you should probably describe what that is, though.
You're basically doing a backflip on top of me.
Yeah, off the turnbuckle, so it's real cool. And that's a 10. So plus 2 magic, and I retain narrative control. As I'm about to hit you, I'm going to conjure a big rock. Let's not be fancy with it. I turn into a huge motherfucking rock, and I fall on you. Oh, snake eyes. That's twice I've spent my magic for no benefit. That sucks. But at least I'm still winning in the crowd battle, so they're into my shit, but you're not you so much.
I got 1 crowd point. What do you got so far?
5.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. You're lucky I failed these last 2 fucking magic attempts. So how does my rock magic fail horribly, and what do you do now that you have magic or narrative control?
I think instead of summoning 1 big rock, you summon like thousands of tiny little pebbles, and it just gently rains on me.
Nice. All right. Yeah, man, that's fair. Absolutely.
As I'm down, you go to grab me, but I hold my hand up in the air, and I start doing some wavy magic shit. And as you're about to get me, a zombie arm reaches through the cog and grabs you by the ankles and pulls you down underneath the ring. I need to make up some ground, so I will wager both my magics. So it's an 8. So it's a mixed success. So I get half of the magic points spent. So that's 1 crowd point for me. However, you get back narrative control.
So I think you hear a rumbling from beneath the cog, and things start breaking down. Like you hear like metal snapping and grinding and crying and waiting. You know, it's like, things are grinding to a halt. The clockwork people look a little frightened. And then the great cog cracks in half, and I crawl my way out of it holding like a minute hand, like a huge minute hand. And I'm going to run. I'm going to like use like a Shaolin monk, where I'm going to put it in the ground and then try to like double foot kick you in the face. I think it's a grace move.
Yeah.
9 plus 2 is 11, so I get 2 magic, and I keep narrative control. So I kick you in the face. As you're falling, I disappear the lance, and I summon it up from the ground right behind you as you're falling. So you're going to land on it.
Ugh.
And I'm going to spend my 2 magic to do that. Hey, it's a 10. So I get 2 more crowd points, but you get narrative control. Because as soon as you use magic, successful or not, your opponent gets narrative control. That way you can't just like endlessly streak magic. So you've been stabbed, ass face.
So I think I sit up and I have this giant minute hand stuck through my torso. But I hit the ropes and I run towards you and I javelin you with it. Not a javelin, I joust you with it. And I'm going to say that's grace. Because I need it. So it's a 6. Failure.
Nuts to you.
I mean, it's probably like a power, right?
So try to joust me with it. I think you fully stab me. And it's like stabbing like a husk. It sinks right in. And I just kind of like do the ultra cool thing you see in spooky movies where they like drag themselves along the blade. And as I'm in front of you, I'm just going to headbutt you really fucking hard. Snake eyes again. Oh, okay. I go to headbutt you in the face as I impale myself on minute hand.
I'm going to grab your jaw, open it wide, and spew flies into your mouth.
Ugh. Alright, so is that like grace or magic or grace or power?
That's power.
Alrighty.
It's a power thing for me. It's not sexual.
No. So in order for this not to be a spell, you have to do something with your body. Because you're using your spellcasting ability to augment your power.
So as I'm doing this, I rip the minute hand out from between us. So +2 to my 6, so an 8. A mixed success. So I get a magic point.
Mm-hmm.
However, you get narrative control back.
Okay, so I stumble backwards. I hack out a bunch of flies. I think now I'm just pissed. Like, I feel embarrassed. I feel like the crowd's starting to turn to your favor. You survived my opening salvo, all my cool little tricks, and now I'm just going to get mad. So I'm going to start, like, just trying to, like, punch and kick. Like, it looks more like a tantrum than an actual fight. But it's like this massive flurry of crazy blows. It's power, but it's, I'm not a strong person, so I think it's a little ineffectual. But we'll see how it works out. Maybe I'll roll like a 13 or some shit. I did not. I rolled a 9, so I get 2 magic points still, which is cool. But yeah, my impotent rage turns the narrative back over to you.
Well, as you're swinging your arms, I just hold out my hand and grab you by the head. You just can't reach me.
This is a good move.
And as I do that, my 2 zombie feet minions kick you really hard in the balls.
Ouch, my balls.
So that is a power move. However, it is a 6.
Total?
So yeah.
You lose a magic point.
And narrative goes to you.
Let's see. So how does it fuck up? So I think you crush my head. Yeah, your head just goes right through my head like you're crushing a papier-mâché doll. Now you're alone in the ring, just my corpse in front of you. And then out of the shadows behind you, immediately, there's my face, like, just slowly appearing over your shoulder. And the crowd's yelling for you, like, turn around, turn around. And you're like, what? Why would I turn around? And I tap you on the shoulder. And as soon as you turn around, I deliver a vicious elbow to the face. And it's power move, 11 plus 1 is a 12. So plus 3 magic. So now I have 5 magic. Ooh, let's see. I think while you're reeling, I like roll past you. I grab your feet and I just start eating the flesh off of them. And as I spit the chunks back out, they form little tiny versions of me. Like the little deadites. Mm-hmm. Again, referencing Army of Darkness. And they're all going to attack you at once. This is a magic thing. In case you couldn't tell. So I'm risking 3 points. If I get another fucking snake eyes, I'm shut the studio down. Close. So I got an 8. So let's see, I gain half rounded down. I gain 1 crowd, and now you're being attacked by tiny little creepy versions of me. Well, creepier versions.
I'm going to crawl to the middle rope and do a big splash on them. Big frog splash. And hopefully explode all my feet minions.
Feet minions.
Fuck a duck. 5. So I lose 1 magic, so I don't have any magic to lose, so.
So I think you go to frog splash on them, but it's more like you're crowd surfing. And then they just catch you.
But I'm
And they
like,
wander-
what, like an inch off the ground?
Yeah, okay, caterpillar. And they wander over to the side of the ring and toss her ass out, which is totally power move. They just like slide you through the ropes. It's very slow to have them walk all the way across the ring. Let's see. Oh, that's a 6. Bummer for old mate.
I think they lose all their strength all at once,
Yep.
and they just let go, and I smush them anyway.
Oh no.
And that's a power. 9, a mixed success. So I get my magic back. However, you get narrative control.
So while you're distracted with my mini-me's, I've been doing something, I'm sure, in the background, very devious. Oh, I'm like handing it up to the crowd, like looking around to see if anyone's paying attention, and I'm doing something to the turnbuckle, and I'm actually taking the padding off the turnbuckle. So you get up off the ground, you're all kind of woozy from what just happened, and I'm there, and I grab you, I take your arm, and I whip you across the ring into the turnbuckle that has no padding on it. And right before you hit it, I make it like an Iron Maiden. I summon an Iron Maiden. So you go in there, and hopefully the door will slam shut on you. And that'll be the last 2 of my magic that I have at my disposal. That's 7 plus 2 is 9. So I get 1 more crowd, and you are inside of an Iron Maiden, but you have control.
The Iron Maiden opens up, but I'm not in there. You walk over as if to say, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, he was right here. I'm looking to the crowd like, what the hell? You saw it.
And my swarm of flies reappears, and I'm behind you now. And I shove you into the Iron Maiden.
Ah!
And that's a magical thing. 1 magic plus 6 is a failure.
You get nothing. You lose, sir. So here's what happens. You go to shove me. Now I am flies. And I'm behind you. You go back to the Iron Maiden. Which is a grace move. So that's a 9. So I get, 1 magic. And you have control again. And we're right back where we were like 3 dice rolls ago. Loving an Iron Maiden.
I start rocking back and forth until the Iron Maiden falls on its side. And I use it to like log roll and take you out from under your feet. And that's graceful.
Yeah, that's pretty graceful.
So graceful. So a 9, a mixed success. So I get 2 magic, and you get narrative control.
All right, so I'm on the ground, and I'm all like, what the hell? I'm kind of like hamming it up on the ground like I'm rolling like I'm really injured. And I think you, of course, as a technical, were like actually worried that I might be injured. Because you're a good person by nature, right?
Yeah, all the things I've done would dictate that.
Exactly. Okay, maybe not that then. I'm rolling around and the referee comes over to check
There's
on
a
me.
referee? That's like being like a cop in Gotham City. That is the most useless job to be a referee in this wrestling league.
Okay, I'm really injured and the crowd's upset because right now the crowd's on my side, right? And so someone's like, is there a doctor in the house? And someone goes, yes, of course. And they come in. And it's this robot man. And he leans over me and he goes, I'm sorry, he's dead. And he turns around and he's like, nothing we can do. And they're like, oh my God, I killed a man. But it turns out the doctor was me the whole time.
What?
So I took his face off.
That's what I do.
No, that's true. All right, fine. I like punch you in the knee. From the ground, I'm going to do a cool spin kick and try to sweep you off your feet. Romantically.
So I
It's very
assume I've
graceful.
busted out of the Iron Maiden at this point.
I assume so since I was on the ground, right?
Sure.
All right, so you burst out of the Iron Maiden to celebrate your victory over me. And I look like I'm very thoroughly dead on the ground. And then I do a cool, like, Power Ranger spinny move type thing, and I kick you in the back of the knees. Because you didn't hit down block, you idiot. 9 plus 2 is 11. So I get 2 magics. I keep narrative control. So while you're on the ground, the crowd starts booing me, and I'm going like, oh, what? Boo! And, making them, like making little fake cry motions at them, like, oh, boo-hoo, your hero is dying, meh. And I rip one of the ropes off, start spraying hot water everywhere, and I pointed at you, and I just blast you with hot water from the turnbuckle. Just fuck you. Feels, is that power, you think, or is that grace? I think it's power from ripping the belt off.
That's
The
power.
rope off, right? Oof, that's a 6. So it gives me nothing.
But I grab the rope and I wrap it around your neck and start choking you with it.
Power then, huh?
Yeah, so that's a 8. So a mixed success. So I get another magic,
Mm-hmm.
and you get control back.
So I think I'm being garroted. I'm just going to smash my head back into your head. Try to break your nose. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
A headbutt like I did before, but this one's a backwards headbutt, so it's not the same. And that is a 7, which I think gives me 1 magic, right? And then you get Merit of Control. Because my power is a +1 move.
Yep.
Oh, I get 2 magic for that, I'm sorry.
So I reel back in pain,
Yep.
and you're still recovering from being choked. And I grab you from around the waist.
Slow down.
And using my 3 magic, I'm going to summon a hole to hell. And I'm going to throw you in.
Nice.
So 3 plus 8 is an 11.
There you go.
Success. So I have now gained 3 crowd points, bringing me up to 5.
Don't call it a comeback.
However, you gain narrative control. What are you doing in hell, Nate?
I think you hear a bunch of screaming. You know, as
As you do.
I'm falling from a great depth. And then you hear the screams start turning to laughter. And I burst out of it, of course, with big flaming wings. And instead of antlers on my head, now I have these horns that are there. And I'm going to blast you with magic. I rip your portal off the ground, like the old cartoons where they like peeled up the holes off the ground. And I throw it at you like a frisbee. I'm going to get you with your own hell magic. I'm risking 3 magic on this. And that's a 12. So I get 3 crowd. And I am at 12 crowd. And now you have a taste of your own hell medicine.
I'm in hell with all them dead people, huh?
Yeah, it's no good. You're not going to have fun there. Say hi to Jeffrey Epstein for me. Actually, don't. I didn't know him or anything. Please don't make that assumption.
I don't want to bring like Hitler.
Say bring Hitler.
Because I'm a good guy after all.
Bring Abraham Lincoln.
Why is he in hell? Oh, he's Republican.
Yeah. Who's the good guy that's in hell?
I don't know, by definition.
Bring a bunch of virtuous pagans like Virgil or something. And me and Socrates are going to kick the shit out of you now.
Actually, I like Abe Lincoln. So you throw me into the portal of hell filled with all these dead people.
Technically, I threw the portal of hell into you.
But either way, it was foolish. Because I've used some of my necromancy power to come back through hell with my tag team partner, Abraham Lincoln. It's
Yeah.
2-on-1 again.
Oh, no.
And he's a scrapper.
He was a wrestler, wasn't he?
You're so in shock that he sneaks up behind you, puts you up on his shoulders, and we're going to do the Doomsday device. You remember the Doomsday device, the finishing move of the Legion of Doom?
Was that when one guy would like snap forward and the other guy would like Stone Cold stun him?
No, that was the 3D you're thinking.
Oh,
This
okay.
is... One guy would get up on the other guy's shoulders like you would be on your dad's shoulders walking around the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And the other guy gets up on the turnbuckle and clotheslines you off his shoulders.
Awesome.
So, Lincoln's going to do that because he still has his feet.
And he's real tall. I mean,
Yeah.
he had Marfan syndrome, so.
Most definitely a power move, which is 8 plus 2, so a 10. So I get 2 magic,
Oof.
and I keep my narrative control.
Yeah, I am thoroughly shook after being doomsdayed by Abraham Lincoln.
But as you would be.
Yeah, that would make anyone upset.
You and slavery, both defeated by Abe Lincoln. So using more of my necromancy magic, I don't want Lincoln to feel alone out here. So I am going to summon out of the still open hell portal Hannibal Hamlin, Abe Lincoln's first vice president.
Yep, of course.
Keeping this historic.
Everyone knows that.
I didn't have to Google it or nothing.
No.
So anyway, old Hannibal comes out. Hannibal the cannibal. And he starts eating you. He bites you right in the neck.
I was worried he's going to give me one of his Hannibal lectures.
Fine, he does that. He bores you to death.
Oh, no.
So I'm spending 2 magic, which is a 10. Success. So I get half. No, wait.
No, you get both magic
Oh,
points.
So I'm up to 7 crowd. However, you get narrative control with a throat full of Hannibal Hamlin.
So, as he's like eating my neck meat, I start eating his neck meat.
How do you get your head around?
I don't know. Magic?
Oh, okay.
I'm tired of all these historical figures stinking up my joint. So whenever I'm feeling like I need a little inspiration, I go to my magic cost table and look under conjuration. That'll help me figure out what I want to do. I push away from him. I spend my 2 magic points. I snap my fingers and I summon these 2 spectral floating chairs. And I kind of spin around as fast as I can. I'm just going to see if I can like helicopter all of you to the ground with my magic chairs. So let's see. 2 plus 3 is a 5. Fuck. I lose my 2 magic points, and my special chairs do nothing. Nothing. You have nerve control.
So Hannibal and Abe are going to grab the 2 chairs that you dropped and give you what Edge and Christian used to call the concerto, which is essentially they each hit you in the head and sandwich your head between the chairs. That's a power move. So that's an 8. Mixed success, so I get a magic from that.
So you and Lincoln concerto, or you and Hannibal Buress, or whoever concertoed me?
Hannibal Hamlin, the first vice president under Lincoln.
All right, so I think I do the cartoon like ring, holding my head, trying to get it to stop vibrating, as you do. And I go to like lean on Hannibal Hamlin for support. I'm like, oh, my brain. And then I just grab his arm, and I'm running with him, and I'm going to slam him into the back of Abraham Lincoln because I know that he's probably helping to celebrate and mug to the crowd. I'm going to try to knock them both out of the ring and then into the awaiting hellmouth below so they can go back to hell where Abraham Lincoln and Hannibal Hamlin belong. 7 plus 1 is 8, so I get 2 magic, and you get narrative control. But I think I've gotten rid of fucking Hannibal Hamlin and Swinging Lincoln.
You did. But using my 3 magic, there's one man that's not going to be happy about that. Andrew Johnson, Abe Lincoln's 2nd vice president.
God damn it.
And his 17th regular president. Kind of suspect that he becomes vice president the same year Lincoln's killed. Just saying.
Yeah, you fucking cracked the code on that one.
So he comes flying out of the hellmouth with a ring bell and screams, "Seek Semper Tyrannis!" and whacks you over the head with it.
Well, he was a Democrat, so he shouldn't have been in hell, by your logic.
Dude, I don't know. Maybe he didn't rewind his VHS tapes. I don't know why anybody goes to hell these days.
That's what it was.
So anyway, that's 3
Serial
magics.
jaywalker. Andrew Johnson.
I'll find something he did.
Let me Google all of his policies real quick. All right, so you spent your 2 magic. Did you roll?
No, 3 magic, motherfucker. 3 magic. So I'm rolling 3 plus 4. That's 7. Mixed success. Half of 3 is 1.5. So 1. And you get narrative control back. So, baby, I'm up to 8 crowd points.
You're catching up. So what did he just do? He wanted me to death?
He didn't to death you.
Oh, with a ring bell.
With a ring bell. Does that ring any bell?
I conjure a huge ring bell. Like I summon it out of thin air. And I put it on the ground. I grab him by his feet, and I use him as the hammer to ring it. Boom! And I want the vibrations to shatter him apart.
How many magic points are you wagering?
2. That's an 8. So I get 1 crowd, and you're fucking out of stupid presidential figures. So,
well, you've been distracted by my presidential tag partners.
I hate that sentence.
I'm going to come up from behind and put you in the Cobra Clutch, favorite finisher of the $1 Million Man and Sergeant Slaughter. And that's a power move. So that's a 9 total, which is a mixed success. So I get a magic back, and it's back to you.
I'm out of magic. There's no more presidents. It's just me and you, mano a mano. What did you just do to me?
You're in the Cobra Clutch. It's like a modified sleeper hold.
Yeah. I think I just reached back and I gouge your eye with my thumb. That's kind of a heel thing to do, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So I think it's just a power move, or is it grace? Because no, it's power. If it's like a power thing. 9 plus 1 is 10, which means I get some cool shit, and I keep control. I gotta just start going for magic. I gotta put you away before you catch up. Because I'm sitting at 13. You're sitting at what, 8 now? 9?
8.
Yeah, I can't have that. Well, as you're reeling, I'm gonna wait until you're against the ropes. Then I'm gonna clothesline you over the ropes, and I'm gonna try to like kick you down into the swirling gears on the outside of the ring. I think it's power again, right?
Yeah.
Stacking up more stuff. Let's see. So 7, which is a mixed success. I get another 1 magic. but you get narrative control. So as I'm going to clothesline you over the top rope, what do you do?
I think you do, and I think I'm hanging dramatically from the ring apron. And you go to stomp my fingers to drop me in.
Mm-hmm.
I grab your feet and I pull you down. So we're both hanging from the apron side to side.
Oh, yeah.
Elbowing each other to see who's going to go down. I'll use my magic to summon a zombie arm to pull me back into the ring, leaving you hanging.
Oh, all right.
So 1 magic plus 8. So that's a 9.
Round it down as a 0.
Yeah. Yes, I kind of burnt my magic for nothing. But I survived.
Eat shit. All right. So I have way too much magic stinking up my just the joint over here now. So I want to risk 2 of it. But what am I going to do with it, though? I don't have a plan for it, which is a problem.
You got to get yourself out of the precarious position you found yourself in.
I think my hand slips, and I'm falling. I am flying back out of the darkness now on the back of a goose.
You could have picked any bird.
Yeah.
Not like a hawk or an eagle.
No, the most terrifying animal ever, the goose.
A goose will fuck you up.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like the cobra chickens. They're horrible. So I'm spending 2 to summon my goose. That's a 9, so I got 1 crowd point. But the goose drops me back into the ring and flies away.
Man, with that spell, you really cooked my goose.
Take a gander at this, I say. I know I've been a little flighty tonight, but I think it's finally coming around.
You know what, Nate? Go flock yourself.
Migrate or what? Get it? Because it's like, am I great? But migrate?
Yeah.
That's a thinker. I figured I'm a Wendigo, so like I can do Canadian wildlife, right? It's Canada goose. It took a massive shit in the ring before it flew off, because it is a goose, so.
Then I'm going to pile drive you into a pile of goose shit.
Oh, beans.
That's definitely a power move. So a mixed success, so I get a magic back.
You pile drive me, and as soon as I hit the mat, I just turn into like a clump of snow, like you're pile driving a snowman. And then I form around you, I'm freezing, and I'm trying to like freeze you out pretty much by forming my gross cold body all around you. 6 plus 3 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So I gain 2 crowd. Oh, I'm at 16 crowd now. And you have narrative control, but you are encased in man ice. And I say, ice day we're having.
I'm going to use my magic to melt your ice hug with my fire urine.
How is that necromancy? Just because you have gonorrhea doesn't mean it's necromancy.
I want to pee on you.
Well, I know that, but how does that affect the game? What? Oh, God. You're giggling, and I'm so fucking terrified what you're going to come out with next.
To get me out of this jam, I was going to summon somebody. I was going to summon Andrew Johnson's vice president. But you know what I found out?
No.
Andrew Johnson didn't have a vice president. So
Weird stuff,
I'm going to go
man.
by the 18th president of the United States, Ulysses S.
Ulysses S. Grant. Okay.
He's going to pee on you.
Oh, wait. You summoned Ulysses S. Grant, 18th president of the United States, to piss on me?
Yes, and as we all know, he had a raging case of gonorrhea. So his piss is hot.
This is the worst.
Deal with it. So a 7. Mixed success.
So you
Again,
get
0 crowd points.
How many did you have?
1.
You had 2. Oh, they had. See, well, save up. It's all about saving.
Okay, but how else am I going to get out without using magic?
Strength. Brah! You burst out.
Oh, that's stupid.
Not as stupid as wasting 1 point to have a dead president piss on me. Yeah, that sounds so fucking stupid now, doesn't it? So anyway, I stand up and I'm getting pretty pissed off. So I summon a bottle of whiskey because I know Grant loved whiskey. And he downs it and he starts choking. Turns out it's poison. He dies again, back in hell. Anyway, moving on. Is that my 2 magic for summoning a bottle of whiskey for that? Probably, right?
Yeah.
Oof, that's a 6. He's still around. And I've lost my 2 magics.
So the joke's on you. It was regular whiskey. And like Popeye, he like hulks up. 'Cause he has
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I get up. And we perform the deadly death drop on you.
Okay, what the hell is that?
That's the thing you said earlier. Where
Oh.
one guy picks him up. And the other
Yeah.
guy basically does like a diamond cutter.
I thought you said it was the 3D.
Yeah, the deadly death drop.
Oh, now I'm an idiot. You're
It's
right.
not like
I'm sorry.
3-dimensional. It's 3D.
Like everything's like it's not a cartoon, but of course it's 3D. All right.
So we
Go
do
on.
that. And that's powerful.
Yeah, it feels powerful.
So that's an 8 plus a 2. Mixed success. I get a magic back, and I'm probably going to waste it later.
So who's in front of me and who's behind me?
He is the picker-upper, and I'm the diamond cutterer.
Okay.
So I'm in front of you.
So I shove you out of the way as I'm falling, and I flip forward and try to throw him with my feet on top of you. Kind of like a Hurricane Rana, but not like with my thighs, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With my shins, which feels wicked graceful to me. And that's a 7, so I get 1 magic point. I've thrown your stupid pissing president on top of you, and he's still pissing, just so you know.
Oh, yeah, because he's so drunk from the whiskey.
Yeah, it's just constant streaming. And now you're covered in piss president. Joke's on you.
So I get up from being thrown. I grab Grant and I tear his arms off and use them like Michelangelo nunchucks. And I charge you with them.
All right. That's definitely a powerful thing, I believe.
That's power. You know how hard it is to rip a man's arms off?
Yes.
So that's a 7, 8, 9. So I get a magic.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you doing as I'm charging you with Ulysses S. Grant's arms?
Oh, I'm doing that thing where like I freak out when I run and you're just chasing me around the ring. And it's very cowardly of me. I get to a certain point where I drop to the ground right in front of you and you're like too close, you stumble over me and you fall. And that's a grace move. Just to have you trip. It's a 7. So I get 1 more magic. Oh, I'm so close. So you trip and I scramble up and I start running the other way away from you. So now you are in control. You still have Ulysses S. Grant's arms.
You've gained too much ground. I can't catch up with you. So I'm just going to throw them like a Ulysses S. Grant in a ring.
It sounds graceful to me. Although throwing weapons that are heavy in D&D use strength, so it could be power. I'll let you decide.
I think it's power.
Okay.
Do you know how hard it is to throw a man's arms?
Yes.
6, 7, so that's an 8. Another mixed success. So I get another magic. So I'm up to 3 now. You better be careful. You don't know who I might summon next. Maybe Shuyer Colfax? Or Henry Wilson, perhaps? You don't know.
You've got to stop naming dead historical figures from the antebellum period.
Never.
I'll do what I want.
So his arm hits you and it wraps around your feet like a... What do you call them?
Bolo.
Like a bolo. What I said?
One of those things with the strings on it, with the rocks on it, and they wrap you up.
A bola.
Yeah. Oh, hey, bolo is a tie, right? Maybe it's the same thing. Who could say?
So you get hit with a bola and you fall down.
Now I have wizardy bola. So I stand up, I grab the arms. You threw 1 arm or 2 arms?
I would say both.
I know I can taste that you're on your last legs. I know that you're about to fall.
I'm not on my last legs, Nate. You took my feet from me.
That's right. So now I just have to like push you over that edge. I know you're close to losing your strength. And I can hear the crowd like getting nervous, and I'm eating it up. I fucking love it. I take the arm off of my feet. I whip it into the crowd. They're screaming because the arm is just hitting them indiscriminately. I imagine that it's animated still, right? Like it's still like moving around by itself.
Like a chicken with its head cut off, yeah.
Yeah, it's just aimless, mindless violence. And I appreciate that about it. I'm just going to run up to you now because I think you're like flagging at this point. I'm going to try to kick you in the chest and go for a pin. So power. Come on, dice. 5. Yeah, so I just fail. I kick you and I go to get you in a pin, and apparently you have a reserve of strength I wasn't prepared for. You risk it all. Because a +3 is almost guaranteed to succeed in a way. And you need the points.
So you're on top of me, pinning me, and I turn into a pile of maggots.
Bruh. I hate it.
And crawl up your nose and start eating from the inside.
No, you can't. It's illegal.
Did. There's no ref. We've established this. Anything goes. 7 plus 3 is a 10. Success.
Oof. So what are you at now?
11.
Oof.
Catching up.
Man.
However, you get narrative control. What are you going to do with a nose full of maggots?
I'm going to snort them into myself and start chewing.
That's a power move.
Yeah, it is. All right, so that is a 10. So I get, 3 magic off of that. And I keep narrative control. So I have 5 magic.
But you can only use a maximum of 3, right?
Right. This is Grant's corpse is still in the ring, right? Just not his arms.
Yeah, he's probably still alive, just doesn't have any arm. Well, alive, he's undead.
So I think I summon a god of balefire, like hellfire, just to engulf him, and he's screaming. And then I start like vomiting maggots onto the screaming, flaming corpse of Ulysses S. Grant. And this will be magic. I'm just gonna like hurl a bunch of maggots into this guy as he burns. I'm gonna do 3 magic. That's what I'm spending. So that's a 10. So I get 1, 2, 3. So I'm at 19 crowd right now. The crowd has realized who the true master is. They know who the true technico is. They don't care about your creepiness and your fucking bullshit with your trying to be an educational guy, trying to teach them about history from the mid-19th century. They're not into that shit. They want blood explosions and maggot fires. And now you have narrative control. Because I have 1 crowd left to win, and I get 2 points to do it on my next turn. So good luck.
Now I reform into a man made of fire maggots.
Yeah, you do.
Slap you in the face.
As I'm making on the crowd, like I'm leaning over the ropes, like, yeah, me, I'm the best. Who is the greatest? And they're like, yes, you are. I am a robot. Because remember that they were robots.
Oh yeah. So big old slap. Here it comes.
It's a slap.
You fiend. Big success. So I get a magic out of that. However, you have narrative control, and I think my days are numbered.
So I think you slapped me.
I did.
Yeah.
That's established. That's canon.
I think the crowd is like, ooh, you know. So I make this weird sound, like in the back of my throat, and it sounds like a bunch of weird chirps. And then out of the darkness in the top of the stadium, you see a bunch of crows descend on you, and they start eating the maggots. And you're screaming as you're being covered in all these magical crows. And I'm going to try to put you away for good now. So, risking my 2 magic, all I need is a 7 or above. God damn it.
What?
Wait, no. 5. Okay. I roll a 5 plus 2 is a 7. So I get it rounded down, which is 1 point, which puts me at 20, which is enough crowd to win the match.
No.
So when the crows depart, and there you are standing, completely pecked apart, it's your normal human form again. The leather mask is actually hanging off. And I walk over to you, and I do the most disrespectful thing you can ever do to another luchador. I take your mask off. The crowd knows like this is fucked up. I throw it to the ground. I walk over to the turnbuckle. I put my stag head back on, and I assume the aspect of the Wendigo. I walk back over to you. I pick you up, and I just start eating your head. And I throw your lifeless corpse to the ground, and the crowd erupts, and they cheer for me. They love me, and I am the champion.
Oh, is there a belt or something on the line?
No, I'm the champion of this match. Suck my butt. Take
wow,
that.
he won his own game, everybody.
That's right. Don't forget it. And it says here in the rules that I got to win if ever I play. So.
Oh yeah.
So that was Lucha Libram.
That was. This was a little bit different than when we play tested it because this lasted more than 20 minutes. So you've done some good work. Nate, that was a hoot. That was a really fun game, and I had a great time.
Thank you. That doesn't feel patronizing at all.
No. But if I was to patronize you, how would I do that?
So any game that I create, whether it's this one or whether it's all my other shit that I'm putting out, you can become a patron at patreon.com/potofblunders, and you get copies of everything that I make at the $5 or above tier. So all the games are free. You get access to a bunch of cool stuff like our Jumping the Street Sharks podcast. You get a game about being rats controlling Nicolas Cage, Caveman Bad Times, which will be coming out soon. Still working on the name.
Plus exclusive access to our champagne room on our Discord channel.
That's right.
And hell, even if you're not a patron, you can still join us on our Discord by following the invite in the show notes.
And of course, if you want to buy our games directly and make sure the money goes to me, Nathan, and not to Richard whatsoever, you can go on our itch page, or should I say my itch page, and buy us directly from me, cutting out the dead weight. But I want to let people know, too, this game also comes with other modes of play. It's not just, this. So there's tag team matches, there's battle royale, they have little rules tweaks as well. You can play this with not just 2 players, but with really any number of players. I hope you guys check out the game. I hope you play it and tweet at me. Let me know how you like it, because my ego needs a little more massaging.
If you want to support the Pot of Blunders, please consider heading to our Patreon page, patreon.com/potofblunders, all one word. We've got membership levels ranging from $1 to $10 a month, which will get you access to things like our Discord, exclusive episodes of Jumping the Street Sharks, as well as a variety of other perks. You can also support the show and help us bring more attention to amazing indie authors by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate any help you can give. We love hearing from you. You can always find us on Twitter at Pot of Blunders, and you can also reach us via email at potofblunders@gmail.com. Want more reviews, interviews, actual plays? Head to potofblunders.com and learn about even more amazing indie games. Thanks for listening. For the Pot of Blunders, I'm Nate Magnuski, and as always, may all your Ds be 12s.